Okay, so we're here in March in Cambridgeshire at the police station. We have been here before. A couple of times now. But yeah, it's still closed. This post box is no longer in use. All mail should be sent to the force headquarters in Huntingdon. There's no longer a public inquiry office. So the nearest stations it's saying is Parkside in Cambridge or Thorpe Wood in Peterborough. Still have a yellow phone and a map of the area. So I know it's still operational, it still operates out of here. It's just not open to the public. It's a very old, run-down sort of looking place. Look at the state of the gates. Yeah, you can see they've got a few vehicles in there. A couple of marked vehicles down there. We've got one parked just there. They normally have more parked along there, so there must be a couple out and about on the roads. Yeah, it's a Wednesday afternoon. I think it's afternoon, just about. Yeah, 12:30. That's about it. Hello?
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, cheers mate. Just looking at your cars and that.
Have a look at the cars.
Yeah.
Just interested.
Yeah. Interested. Yeah.
Okay. Anything I can help you with at all?
No, I'm good.
Just
cheers.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be coming out in a police vehicle just now.
The marked one?
No, an unmarked one. Sorry.
Oh, right,
It's a
okay.
bit of a boring one.
That's all right.
So please don't enter the backyard. It's a
Yeah,
private
sure.
premises. No issues with you filming, obviously.
Cool.
No issues with that at all. But yeah, just make way of the gates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah. Decent response there from that constable coming out in an unmarked police vehicle. But yeah, we'll be able to get the number plate at least of an unmarked police vehicle.
The video begins with the auditor visiting a closed police station in Cambridgeshire, calmly observing the site and its old, run-down state. He notices police vehicles and interacts politely when an officer in an unmarked car approaches. The officer's professionalism sets a respectful tone early on.
But yeah, good response. You know, to be fair, Cambridgeshire Constabulary are pretty good on auditing and that these days, and with interactions that I have had with Cambridgeshire Constabulary, they're generally pretty decent. Yeah, so what they got? They got a Peugeot 308, and the number plate is. Wait for the gates to open. Yeah, so the number plate they got is Oscar Yankee 22 Tango Papa Oscar. Yeah, so apparently that is an unmarked police vehicle. So he's doing the right thing and waiting around for the gates to close. As he did ask me politely not to go in there. So no issues with filming. Just asked me not to go into the gates, which is a fair request. Yeah, absolutely doing the right thing by waiting. Quite a nice little Peugeot actually. Little rims on that. I've not seen that before. I quite like that. Michelin tyres, e-primacy. It's quite a smart car. Indicating well, good. Well done to him. Here's another one. Swinging in. No indicator though. Oh. Pardon?
The officer allows filming but reminds the auditor not to enter restricted areas. A fair and balanced response. This respectful exchange highlights how positive engagement between public and police can avoid unnecessary conflict.
Yeah, not bad yourself?
Good, yeah, not too bad, thank you. You having a good day?
Yeah, not too bad. Chilling.
Nice one.
What was that beeping?
Huh?
What was that beeping?
My camera.
You turned it on, did you? Did the reason you didn't tell me? Constable. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Just one thing. You were very reasonable earlier, and I really appreciate that. That chap there, can you just get me his collar number, please? Because I need to make a complaint. But he drove off without answering my question. I just need his collar number. I can't hear that. Sorry. 1401. Again, well, can I just ask you why you didn't notify me that you were turning your camera on?
You heard it, didn't you?
Pardon? I heard a beep. I didn't know what it was. That's what I had to ask you, didn't I? Yeah, but you should have told me when you turned it on, shouldn't you, Constable? It's in your policies. You're a data handler. You need to let people know when you're recording them. That's covert surveillance. Yeah. Might be laughing now, you won't be when you get told off.
You alright?
Yeah, not bad, you?
You waiting for someone?
Nah, no, I'm good.
You just sort of sat out
Yeah,
here.
yeah, just filming, just getting vehicles and that.
Fair enough, mate. We have to watch the gates close, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good, that's good. That's absolutely what we should be doing, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with it. You'd be surprised how many places I go to where they don't. They just come out, see me stood here. Like I said, you don't know who I am, I could be up to no good. And I can walk in.
Yeah,
But
of course,
so many
yeah.
people just come out and drive off and,
No, I know, mate.
you know. So no, good on you, good for doing it.
Oh, thank you.
Are you a constable, are you? You uniformed usually? Are you off duty? Yeah.
I'm off duty.
Yeah, but are you normally uniformed?
Yeah,
Your
yeah, normally
When you turn your body cameras on, do you tell people when you do it?
Usually it lets them know with a little beep.
Yeah, but a beep could mean anything. I don't know. You don't know what a beep
displays
means.
it on the screen. Most people kind of, to be honest, when I turn my body camera on, it's in dire situations we don't get a chance to explain it to them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just one of your constables, 1401, just came in, turned it on, and didn't tell me. Now I know it's part of your policy from the College of Policing, Cambridgeshire Police, and obviously Reaper, you know, you don't want to be doing covert surveillance without authority.
No.
So obviously, but
Yeah.
when you turn it on, your policies are to verbally announce where practicable.
Where practical.
As the interaction continues, the auditor questions a constable about his body camera use. When the constable fails to announce recording, the auditor firmly yet respectfully reminds him of the policy requiring notification. It becomes a moment of public accountability.
If you're going into a situation like I said where it's dire, you're going in hands-on, it's a very violent situation, obviously that's justified, you don't do it.
So most of the time it kind of counts as a notification. You don't necessarily have to do it verbally.
That's not what your policy
it's
says.
Quite loose.
That's not what your policy says. Your
it not?
policies clearly
Okay.
state verbal announcement.
That's the thing. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, so
Generally,
that's
if
fair
I
enough.
Turn it on,
Yeah, yeah.
It's dire.
Yeah, yeah.
And usually, people can know.
Yeah. But
It
again,
displays on the screen as well.
yeah, but you can't go by the assumption that everybody knows how your cameras work, because your body cameras are quite expensive ones, they're quite sophisticated. Yeah. And honestly, I've looked up the ones that the police and that use, and they're over 150, 200 quid, some of them.
Yeah.
And I said they're quite sophisticated, you know. And even when they're just running on standby and not recording, sometimes the screen is still on them. So,
Fair.
you know, so again, I see what you're saying. So the best way to avoid any ambiguity is it's simple, isn't it? Just to let you know, you're being audio and visually recorded for your protection and my protection. That's the line that they say you should
Do you know where the
use.
footage goes as well?
Pardon?
Are you aware of where the footage goes?
Yeah, it gets held up for 28 days, and then unless there's an incident, and then it gets recorded for
Yeah, you
longer,
have to-
and then you do a
save
subject
it and things
access
like that,
request.
and it's only on our system.
Yeah.
Protection and all
Yeah,
that.
of course, yeah. But it's that thing of, you know, like if you're filming the public as part of the police, you're part of an organisation, you're covered by GDPR and all of that.
It's the same thing.
know.
It's kind of a difficult one to explain, but it's sort of a similar thing to if someone starts filming me and I've not been made aware of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like you
Yeah.
now, I can see your phone's there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use common sense and assume.
Yeah.
And it's situation's individual. If someone asks me if I'm filming, I'm going to go, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you should. You know, you shouldn't lie about it, but you should have already
And I'll
made
always
them
be
aware.
reasonable with people. If
Yeah,
people don't
yeah.
want to be filmed, if there's a lawful reason I can say, okay, fair enough, I'll turn my camera slightly away.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there being a problem, I need to capture their every
Yes, yeah, of
direction on
course.
camera. Fair enough.
Yeah. 100%.
That's different. But if someone's being reasonable with me and they're like, look, I'd rather not be filmed, blah blah blah. Okay, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
We can try. We keep this as a conversation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people forget they're in. People forget
Yeah.
you're in a uniform, but you still
Yeah.
have a conversation with other people.
Yeah, I mean, the issue comes with it is like, so say you haven't notified somebody, and obviously it is recording, they don't know that what they're saying, what they're doing is being recorded, you know, because there's one thing you'll hear say against somebody else's in a situation, but then obviously body cam footage and cameras, they don't lie, they're impartial witnesses really, aren't they? Yeah, in
Body
a sense.
cameras, yes.
Yeah, you know. So, in that sense, you're collecting evidence without their knowledge. You're recording them and collecting their data, their personal private data under GDPR. And as a data handler, you need to notify them. Like I said, that's why it says where practicable, because obviously you do go into situations where it's not practical.
Yeah,
But if you approach them for a conversation and you're not going in hands-on, there's no reason you shouldn't approach with good afternoon,
absolutely.
good morning, whatever it is.
Just to let you know
Just to let you know you're being recorded for your protection and mine.
that's
And that's all it needs to be.
I say usually mine generally goes on if it's a
Yeah.
situation where it needs to go on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't turn it on for every single encounter.
Yeah.
Most of the time you can have a conversation with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
The discussion deepens into GDPR laws, transparency, and citizens' rights. The auditor explains that filming without notice can breach privacy rules. The constable listens attentively, showing openness to learning rather than reacting defensively, a rare display of professionalism.
prefer that.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know, it's surprising how often it happens and how many complaints have to put in about it. You know, like PC 1401, he's going to have to get a complaint about it now because...
Do you mind if I ask what you detained you for?
Oh, he didn't detain me. No.
Did he tell you you were detained? Did you say?
No, he came in and he just stopped and asked, he said, oh, hey, how are you? And I was like, yeah, not bad, thanks.
Okay.
And I heard a beep and I said, oh, what was that beeping? He said, oh, it was my camera, I just turned it on. And I'm like, well, you should have told me that when you turned it on. You shouldn't have to wait for somebody to ask them to be
That's
asked.
fair
you know.
play. Usually if I'm going into,
know.
so if there's reports of a violence or there's a domestic situation or stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'll go in with my camera already on,
Yeah.
separate people and then we have a chat.
Yeah.
And that's different.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got
If I'm
to
dealing with a member of the
prioritise.
public, most of the time you don't need to turn it on when you're just having a conversation.
No, you don't. No, but so many people do, especially when I'm doing this. You know.
I can see why people do.
Yeah. And
Because
I've
it's
got no problem in doing it. Same reason I record,
Yeah.
you know, because you never know how things are going to go.
Well, yeah,
you know, like you seem like a reasonable chap. I've had a conversation with another guy who's reasonable. You know, no issues. You know, but not every constable is the same, and I do
No,
run into
absolutely,
some
I
problems
completely get
sometimes. and this just carries,
Absolutely, I
evidence.
completely understand that.
So I've no problem with them recording me at all. If I did, I'd have my snood up over my face, and if I wanted to provide my privacy in public, I would cover my face. But I'm not bothered. What I'm bothered about is not being told about it when I'm being filmed by an organisation, especially a government organisation as well.
That's fair. But you're aware of the complaints process, haven't you?
Yeah. So it's, I normally go straight to IOPC, and then usually they kick it back down to PSD. But
I was going to say, it's strange it goes to IOPC now. Are you making some sort of special complaint there, or
no?
Usually they go PSD first.
Yeah, I go
specifically...
straight to IOPC on the off chance that they do pick it up, because they're independent. Whereas PSD is police investigating police, which I think is, in my opinion, a very backwards way of doing it. And this is the issue that the Met have been having, isn't it? With all the complaints that they're now looking at in the backlog and thinking that hasn't been handled correctly. And it's like, well, what do you expect when the police investigate themselves? That's like if I commit a crime and then say, oh, don't worry, I'll get my mate to investigate that. You know what I mean?
It's strange because it's a separate department as well, though. They're not... I always say that people who hate cops who don't do the job properly the most, or the people who've got the most to... The people who hate when cops don't do the job properly are other cops.
Yeah.
That is the most, because at the end of the day...
It gives you all a bad name.
It makes us look bad. It provides future bad interactions for us. The amount of bad interactions I've had with a member of the public who's had a bad interaction with the police and then rubs that off on me.
Yeah. I'll give everybody their dues. Until they give me reason to, I'll give everybody the respect that I would expect from them. So
exactly. So the system that we've got at the minute, it's like I say, PSD. I think they investigate. I don't want to say low-level stuff, but they investigate the stuff that can be dealt with at a certain level. Obviously, if it needs to go, it doesn't get escalated through IOPC. I think it's something like, if you get 5 complaints in a short space of time,
it's automatically to IOPC,
a certain amount of complaints in a short amount of time, it's automatically escalated.
Right, okay.
Regardless of whether the complaints were actually held up or not.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
That makes sense. I didn't know that. That's good to know. So I just, if I want IOPC to deal with it, just make 5 complaints. But no, I'm just messing.
Right.
But
it's one of those. You've got to make a complaint, and that's why it gets investigated.
Yeah. It's like, where was I? It was quite a while ago now. I was up in Lincolnshire, Stamford. I was up there and I had an inspector come out. I was just doing what I'm doing now, just chilling, getting shots of vehicles coming and going, no issues. He just comes out, starts threatening me with arrest for breach of the peace, public nuisance, and this, that, and the other. Obviously, a threat of arrest without a lawful basis. I'll move that away for a second.
Absolutely.
That's an assault. It's a threat of violence. And it's coercing somebody. It's coercing somebody to not do something that they're in their lawful rights to do. But when I put in a complaint, the chief inspector dealing with it was like, no, her behaviour was completely reasonable, and I'm like, really? A threat of arrest when there's no lawful basis for that arrest?
It depends.
You know
on
what I mean?
It depends on what the obviously I wasn't there. So
no, obviously, yeah.
But there's filming, which you're in your right to do.
Yeah.
And then there's what could be perceived as hostile reconnaissance. Things like that.
But then,
are you fully aware of what hostile reconnaissance is?
Yes. So there's a memo from the NPCC regarding this, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you aware of the memo?
I've not seen the memo. I just know.
Oh, you should have it. It circulated around all stations over a year ago now, and it's been updated
it might
regularly
have been an old email that came out.
So the NPCC are of the stance that obviously it's in the police's interest to cooperate with photographers, videographers, because if anything does go wrong in the area, and I'm happy to be videoing, it's good that I've got the evidence for you if you weren't here.
Absolutely.
And they say that hostile reconnaissance, by its very nature, is covert. So somebody sat here doing this, especially with my face uncovered, willing to have a conversation with you. You know what I mean? There's very limited circumstances in this where hostile reconnaissance would be a genuine concern, and it happens a lot. Yeah, so it happens a lot. People get detained and searched on the Terrorism Act, and then the police get sued, and we win every time. Because it's very, very seldom that the justification is there in a situation where I'm filming over.
Yeah.
Their conversation broadens to how police complaints are handled and the challenges of self-investigation within the force. Despite differing opinions, both sides maintain civility and mutual respect. turning what could have been tense into a constructive dialogue.
In public.
My judgment would be, generally, if you're filming,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. My
Yeah,
judgment would be if someone's taking a special interest in security measures and things like that. That's when I might think.
Yeah, if you saw me like walking around with my face covered up and I saw you coming in and was like, oh, run away,
Yeah.
and because I was looking at your cameras and then I saw you coming, I thought, oh, best make a break for it. that's maybe that's more solid grounds. But if you see me here filming, you know, taking shots of the building in general, cars, whatever, I'm overt. I'm happy to have a conversation with you when you come up.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? That in what situation is that going to be? Yeah, I was up in Scotland recently, and I was up by one of the locks that crosses to Northern Ireland, and I saw border force boats going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if somebody really wanted to do hostile reconnaissance, they would just sit here all day and monitor. You know, I could find a space up in one of these windows and monitor you covertly without putting myself in a situation where I'm going to get approached.
If that was, yeah.
You know, if I really had nefarious intent, I would find a more covert way to do it where you would never even know I was there.
That's fair enough.
You know, and it's just, there's so many things about it that I find ridiculous.
Yeah, it becomes such a grey area. And you kind of just, generally the way to solve it is just have a conversation. If
100%.
someone, I've had it before where there have been auditors in front of the police station who
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
spoken to, who've either not said a word to me,
Yeah.
or who they've been a little bit sort of touchy with me, a little bit not happy to see me, not
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
to talk to me, and I thought, okay, that's a bit.
It depends on your approach a lot of the time, but you seem like you would approach a reasonable way. You seem like a decent
I'm
guy.
the least threatening person you
But-
can imagine, aren't I?
But no, yeah, you know, and it depends how you approach. And not everybody's built the same. You know, like I said, I'll give everybody the respect they're due until they give me reason not to. You know, if you came out and started giving me directives, oh, you need to leave the area, then you'd be getting a different side of me because I'd be like, you have no right to tell me that.
But that's fair enough.
You know. But yeah, but again, even if somebody doesn't talk to you, if you answer, you know, we have the right to remain silent. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, we don't have to, and you can't use somebody's silence as an inference of them doing anything
no,
wrong.
Absolutely not. But it just films a judgment up in your head. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you? Do you want to ask me questions? Do you want
Yeah,
to talk?
yeah.
Do you want to find out more?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you do, brilliant.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk. If not, okay. So what are? If I don't know
Yeah.
what your intentions are, makes it a little bit more. It doesn't necessarily form power,
No.
but it makes it a little bit more.
You might have
okay,
more suspicion. You might have reason to
As any
call in
human
and be like,
naturally
keep an
would.
eye on these people.
as any human being naturally. would.
Absolutely, and yeah, keep an eye, make sure they don't get up to no good, and yeah, absolutely
yeah.
fine.
And
But
we've had it outside Thorpewood before as well.
Yeah. Oh,
People
I've been
will
up
be
Thorpe.
filming. People
Yeah.
kind of get a little bit too close into the grounds. People
Yeah.
try and go into the grounds a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, just
I've been up Thorpewood.
appreciate
Yeah, I've been all over the country. Yeah, I've been up Thorpewood before, so Peterborough it. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean Cambridgeshire Constabulary, for the most part, are pretty decent. You
I was
know.
going to say, I don't think we have a lot of particularly scandalous incidents. Certainly
No. I think it was a couple of years ago now. The report for that year, there was a lot of allegations. I don't know how many were upheld about sexual assault and things like that. But that was 2021. That year, there was quite a lot of like 300 and something allegations across the force. Again, I don't know how many were upheld.
That's the
but
thing is, I tend to, when it comes to people being investigated and allegations being
Yeah.
made, I just do my job.
Yeah,
Get on with it.
yeah. You got to wait for the verdict to be made. Definitely,
Yeah,
you know.
and I try not to get involved. I try not to listen too much because I think, okay, that's everyone else's business, not
Yeah.
mine. I'll do my job. I'll speak to people.
Yeah. That sounds good.
No,
Well, I appreciate your time
No
today. I know
worries,
you're
mate.
off duty anyway, but yeah.
that's all right.
But
Don't worry
yeah.
about it.
Alrighty, man. Good to speak to you.
must
Take
be
care.
roasting, man.
Bit warm, yeah. It was a bit colder earlier,
Yeah, it
but
was a bit, wasn't it?
yeah. Oh well.
No worries.
Cheers, mate. So yeah, there we go. It was a very honest and genuine conversation with a very polite constable. You know, he had his ideas about body cameras and that, and hopefully he'll take on board what I've said regarding that. You know, hopefully I don't have to come across him in uniform and he doesn't notify me when his camera gets turned on, because, you know, that would be a different issue. You know, that was also all talking hypotheticals. But yeah, so hopefully he's taken on board what I've said. You know, that unless you're going into a situation that's inherently aggressive, then, you know, your first thing should be to approach and be, hi, just to let you know you're being recorded. And it's as simple as that, isn't it? So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, interesting to know that if they get a certain amount of complaints in a certain amount of time, it automatically gets escalated. The thing is, if you ever see anything online where you want to complain about a constable, they won't uphold a complaint or even consider a complaint if it's something that you've seen online. So the best thing to do there is to tell them that you were stood nearby and witnessed it in person, because a witness to an incident can be a complainant. So yeah, the actual victim can be the complainant, or a witness to the incident can be a complainant. So if you ever do see anything dire that really needs to be escalated further than PSD, or see the person making the video will put in a complaint, you can put in a complaint as well and say you were there in person and you witnessed it. And then they will have to take your complaint seriously. There we go. I think I'm going to wrap that one up there. Wasn't expecting such a long chat with that constable, actually. I thought it would just be a quick question and conversation about body cameras, and then we somehow got onto the topic of hostile reconnaissance and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, anyway guys, as always, I'm going to wrap it up there. But until next time, stay safe, remember your rights, and ta-ra.
The video concludes on a surprisingly positive note. The audio reflects on the officer's honesty and willingness to engage thoughtfully. Discussions about hostile reconnaissance, accountability, and body cams reveal how understanding and communication can defuse suspicion. The constable's calm demeanor contrasts sharply with more aggressive encounters seen elsewhere. This video becomes a reminder that lawful auditing isn't anti-police, it's pro-accountability. When both sides listen and respect boundaries, it benefits everyone. The auditor's closing message, stay safe, remember your rights, beautifully sums up the spirit of civic awareness and respectful activism.